Welcome to the Next Play podcast. We are overcoming mistakes in life and in athletics. We have today a new series we are starting on the military and athletes, advice from the military to athletes and coaches. We have Logan Williams, who is a recurring guest. Logan is a former Army Ranger, and we have working with me as a co-host again is Adam Nelson. Adam is a former PGA teaching pro, two-sport athlete. Now he's running the world's medical sales. So great to have you guys. Good to be here with you on this Sunday afternoon. Logan, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good. It's good to be here.
Good. Adam, how we doing?
Doing great, Coach.
So Adam, as a PGA, real quick, and then we'll get to talking about the Masters. Give us a rundown. What do you think? Did your really good friend play in the Masters, who's going to be a guest upcoming?
He did not qualify for the Masters, but he did lead the U.S. Open through 2 rounds this past year, so he's relevant. He kept his card after his rookie season, missed out on the Masters, but love the Masters. I love the drama behind the LIV and PGA Tour, and was surprised that Brooks Koepka laid an egg in the final round. I thought usually when he has a lead, he tends to run away with it. So
he kind of came across as a little soft though in the Netflix documentary. Logan, did you watch Full Swing?
I haven't yet. No, I'm a little out of the loop on that.
I guess you don't watch TV. You're out like working your farm, and shooting guns and stuff like that. So
I watched a little bit of TV, but I hadn't got around to watching it yet. I need to.
Well, Logan, it is great to have you. So Logan, former Army Ranger, who's actually, Adam, he's thinking about going into coaching. He's a former baseball player. I have warned him that I do not think that's a great idea because he's usually, he's dealing with elite special force guys. And I don't know how that translates to, I mean, he'll be great dealing with high school athletes. That's going to be fine. However, I don't know how dealing with administrators and principals and things like that. I know I have trouble doing it, and he's you know what I'm saying. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean it would be for me. I mean, being with that level of person, that caliber of person and team, yes. And then getting into the civilian world, just trying to get people to show up on time with a good attitude. It's a whole different boat.
Yeah. So Logan, would you say I'm the toughest non-Ranger you've ever met, non-military? Would you say that?
Yeah, absolutely.
100%?
Yeah, without a doubt.
There's no doubt about that. So, one quick thing, athletics in the military. I think all coaches and athletes have this kind of, or coaches think that we would be great generals, and like we would be on the battlefield, we would be second to none. So what's the difference between coaching and leading a unit? So Adam, Logan also led a small unit in the Rangers. So what's the difference there, Logan, would you say?
I was a team leader right before I got out. I was a team leader for about a year prior to getting out. I guess one of the biggest differences is the high stress environment that you're going to deal with, because yeah, sure, there's pressures involved with sports and athletics, but it's a completely different level of stress that you're involved with. And for me, playing baseball, there's stress involved, but when you add another layer of, you just got done walking 5.5 miles, and then now you're getting shot at and you're running as fast as you can with 50, 60 pounds of gear on you. That's a completely different level of stress. And you have to manage 3 or 4 different guys, making sure they're all safe in the right places so that your collective unit of 100 guys can all be in the right place doing the right thing. So I'd say stress is the biggest difference coming from athletics to the military.
So you're saying that, at the free throw line, there's a little more pressure when there's
yeah,
bullets coming at you. I believe that might be
a
little bit. So
Man,
what?
I was gonna say that, like, do you just practice for that pressure? Like, do they just put you in impossible environments?
Yeah.
like I've watched a couple things on Discovery Channel of Ranger Regiment and like what you all go through to get
Yeah.
that patch, and it's like there's no way to succeed in the training for like a year. Like everything you go through, they make you fail. They do. I mean, they're shooting guns over your head.
Yeah.
They're making you think chaos consistently. Like, tell me about what that looks like.
And so most of the things you see online are from like Ranger Regiment are like the selection process, which is what you're talking about, earning the actual patch. I mean, and that's exactly what you said. They're shooting guns over your head. It's a impossible to succeed tasks that they're giving you. But I would say even once you are selected, the biggest learning curve was not like, hey, I'm selected now, I'm a part of the unit. You get sent to the unit and you know nothing in terms of you're thrown into like, I'm a brand new guy showing up to this unit. My team leaders and squad leaders have 5 and 6 deployments and I'm a part of their team now. And so I know nothing in relation to what these guys have done and been through. And so that gap from going from in a selection process to now, hey, this is like the real deal. And it's even further beyond that. Like once you are selected and once you're training with your guys, it's never ending impossible tasks. They'll take you out and drop you off in the desert and be like, all right, we'll see you guys in 3 days. Here's a map. This is our objectives. And you've got a phone with GPS and it's 45 guys and you have to get to this objective at this time, meet this objective this next day. And then the HLZ, you'll have helicopters 3 days from now to pick you up. And
so do you think you're going to drop your baseball team off one day in the wilderness and said, hey guys, figure it out. See you guys back at home. I mean, that would be a team building exercise.
I was about to say, it would be a fantastic team building exercise.
Yeah, you might not make it through the weekend.
I might get fired, but
yeah, pretty sure. Hey, we had we had a guy, special forces guy, work with our team at Lee one time, and so he comes in, he does all this stuff, and all my like best players, like the top 7 or 8, after about a day and a half of this, they can't handle it. So they're all going to the training room, getting excuses to get out of it with minor injuries. Our JV guys, like they're all like loving it. They're, this is the greatest thing ever. And so this guy that was training our people, he was like, you need to go to war with these guys. You need to, these guys. And I was like, hey, there's none of them over 6 feet tall. At some point, talent. Some point, talent matters, like, I mean, yeah, they may be, these are the guys I would want to survive in the wilderness with, but so any thoughts on that, Logan? I mean, like I don't, Logan is, how tall are you, Logan? 5'7", 9, 10,
5'7", 5'8" on a good day.
Yeah. You're not going to be a good basketball player just simply because of that. I mean, now you'll foul the crap out of people and be, in a 3-on-3 game. But Adam, any thoughts on that? I mean, the toughest.
Crystal, so staying on the Crystal, I'm a big fan of that guy. He was Joint Special Operations commander, and was a Ranger. And he wrote a book called Team of Teams, Coach, which is a really cool book. Especially for us who haven't had military experience, just talks about how he structured team and so forth, so on. But what he said like the selection process for the Ranger Regiment was like still like a 70% attrition rate, like 70 to 80%. Is that accurate, Logan? People that go to the actual selection process versus those that make it through?
So believe it or not, so yes and no. And the reason I say yes and no is because you go to this place called pre-RASP prior to Ranger selection. And we had 550 guys in that pre-RASP. And then they took only 160 or 165, I think, of that 500 and whatever. And then of those 160, we graduated like 100. So then when you boil it down from the entire 550, you've got about a 75% attrition rate at that point.
Yeah. And he was saying it's not about the guys that look jacked and the guys that are the most all-American athlete, triple jumpers, the people that can do all this crazy stuff.
Right.
Most of the time, they don't make it through that first stage.
Right.
It's the ones that are 5'7", 5'8", that just will not quit until they die.
Yeah.
That know how, that have that empathy and emotional intelligence to work with a team.
Right.
Those are the ones that are the leaders of the teams and the leader of the. Talk
Yeah.
about that. Like, have you seen that in your experience?
Absolutely. It's a 100%. I mean, you can be the strongest, fittest, you name it, guy out there. And it doesn't matter if you're not willing to suck it up when it's 35 degrees, you're getting rained on, and you guys have to walk 16 miles tonight and get, I mean, this is just a random example, but you'd have 40 water cans that are filled that weigh 30 pounds each. You'd have 20 sandbags, and then you'd have 2 litters, which is like a stretcher basically that you can hand carry, with 180-pound dummy on each. And there's 35 guys, and you have to get all this stuff to this objective. It doesn't matter how strong you are, you're going to be exhausted.
Yeah.
And if you're weak minded, you're going to quit. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much time you spend in the gym. You're going to be cold and miserable.
Which is different from athletics, because let's say, like, I mean, Joe Milton's going to be a better quarterback than you. He's going to be the Tennessee quarterback next year, Adam. And we're going to be really good. Adam's a Virginia Tech fan.
Okay.
Are you WVU? Which are you?
I'm WVU. My wife's a Tech fan. Yeah. I'm irrelevant.
Yeah.
Don't worry about me for the next decade.
Yeah. Anyway, so what I'm saying is, like, you're the toughest dude in the world, but in athletics, you do have to have one talent. You have to have talent in a specific area.
Yeah,
and so it's just so different, but with that, but obviously the mental toughness grit piece is what carries over, and dealing with, I mean, how do you define failure, Logan? Tell us about what is failure to you?
Good gosh. Failure, I mean, not achieving what your goal. If you set a goal and you're not able to achieve it, that's failure.
So what if what would you have considered it failure if you would have just injury wise not made it through as a Ranger? And it was just 100% physical, and at some point they said, hey, you've had all these injuries.
I would say failure maybe, but I think you can attribute failure and quitting together, but they're very different. You didn't quit.
Yeah.
I think there's not always a problem. You can learn from your failures. There's a ton of things that you can learn from and take from failing, I think. Yeah. But when you quit, that's when there's a whole different line of, you can come back from a failure. You didn't achieve the goal that you wanted. You can back up, reevaluate whatever you need to do, and then go back at it again. But if you quit, that's on you. That's your own mental decision to quit.
And see, that's where I don't call that failure. Like, if you have all these injuries, you didn't make it.
Right.
You left it all out there. But quitting because you're scared, that's what I consider.
Right. Yeah, and that's where I said it. Failure, I guess you could say it's failure, but I wouldn't say it's a negative failure. That kind of might sound dumb, but
no, it doesn't at all. Adam, let's get one or two more questions for because my goal is to keep these podcasts shorter. That's some of the feedback that, hey, they love it, but we need to keep it shorter. So that's what some of the potential sponsors are saying, Logan. We need to keep it a little shorter. So Adam, fire away at Logan. No pun intended, by the way. So.
Logan, I'd like to understand. So you're, and whether you acknowledge this or not, because most people in your level are humble, but you're world class. You're in the single decile of human beings that live on this earth in terms of what you've done in your lifetime already, as young as you are. And we're grateful for everything that you've done for our country and really appreciate all of that. But with that, I really want to extract what you've done, what people like you've done, the qualities that you have and your peers have had, that when you look at sports, when you look at collegiate athletics or high school athletics, and you just say, you're sitting at your TV or you're at a high school football game, and you say, if they had that one or two things, it would really change. As great as they are, it would completely change them. What are those qualities? What are those qualities that you could just pinpoint right away and say, this could make a young athlete get to the next level, and I've seen it in what I do?
Yeah, I think somebody who's gritty and hard-nosed I would tie those in together. Somebody who's willing to get down in the dirt and do whatever it takes to not benefit themselves, but benefit their team as a whole. If they can get down in the dirt and suck their pride away and fill that into whatever sport it is you want it to be. If they're able to do that, it's going to benefit the success of whatever team they're on. And somebody who's able to, who might not be in a leadership role, but that guy who is in a leadership role and he goes down, who's immediately able to step up and take over that leadership role, that is a huge quality or attribute of somebody that I think could definitely be successful in the next level.
Let's finish off with this question. That's a great answer and good question, Adam. Let's finish off with this. If you're coaching, how can you apply Armor Ranger training in all seriousness to the team you're coaching? And then second part is, what do you wish you knew as a leader of your baseball team at Oak Ridge High School that you learned from Ranger training? Let's start with that one first.
I think I learned a lot about being a leader in the military, and I wish, and like Adam had asked me the previous question, those are some qualities that I didn't realize could propel somebody to the next level until I had learned from people above me and some of my mentors in the military is being able to step up as a leader when it might not even be your place. If you're a brand new freshman who's playing varsity, leaders are your junior, seniors. Somebody goes down, somebody gets hurt. Who cares if you're the new guy? Who cares if you're the young guy? I think as a coach, you should inspire every single young player to be a better leader on their team, because that's going to be if you can get every single player to buy into what you're preaching, I think that's the way that you get your team to succeed on a greater scale, when every individual player is able to put aside their records, their stats, whatever it is you want to say, and collectively have a group of leaders on a team. That's how you make your team successful, in my opinion.
That's gold. That's gold advice.
So give us one way you're going to do that as a coach.
Right there. I think my goal as a high school baseball coach, which is my goal going forward to get involved in a high school baseball program and eventually be a head coach, is to inspire every single player, from the brand new guy on the team when I walk in to the most senior guy who's going to play D1 college baseball. Every single player has a role, and every single player can be a leader. And it's your job to step up and find your niche in this team so that every single player can be successful on this team, because that's how you have team success. It's not your stats. It's not your records in the record book. It's being a leader and supporting the guys around you. And that goes from the newest guy to the oldest guy. It doesn't matter.
Sounds beautiful, buddy. I appreciate you. Hey, Adam, Logan's going to teach me how to shoot guns and do outdoor stuff, because I'm not really an outdoorsy kind of guy, and I feel kind of insecure about it. But he's going to teach me, how to be a.
You can't be the baddest man that's not a ranger on the planet if you can't shoot a gun. That's a prerequisite.
Yeah, I know. He's I know. It's
I
pretty
saw you kick.
bad,
I saw you
it?
kick 18 basketballs into a Ram Snacks at the Bluefield College Dome one time with a Christian athletic director watching. So that takes some stones.
Yeah,
I will say that.
yeah. I just I need to. He's got to teach me. He's got to teach me how to protect my family. So I'm
tell me when. I'm always down.
I'm being vulnerable here, but I've never shot. I mean, I've shot a gun like twice. I want to know, I want to be.
Where does Logan live?
Logan lives right down the street from me down here. So you need to come down and see us, and we'll all shoot guns.
Let's all shoot guns. I was going to say that I can make that down.
Yeah, no doubt.
Y'all let me know when. I'm always down.
All right. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you. Thank you all for listening. And if you haven't bought the book that Logan Williams, the Army Ranger, endorsed, The 10 Qualities of a Warrior, I ask you why. Why have you not bought it? Go to Amazon, buy it, or send me a DM, and I'll give you a reduced price for the book. The 10. Adam, how many have you ordered? so far? 10 or 15 or
You
where are
told
we
me
at
2
on
weeks
that?
ago you'd get me a copy. I've looked in the mail every day, haven't seen one.
Yeah, I guess you probably deserve one. So anyway, Logan, yeah, since you've I need to give Logan a signed copy too. All right, thank you so
Absolutely.
much. And that concludes our episode. Thank you for tuning in. Give us a 5-star. If you didn't like it, just keep it to yourself. We'll see you next time.